That I have to beg the people that I like them to feature in my work, unfortunately. Yeah, so I like to work with people that I like. Yeah. 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 Yes. Is there any person with a question here? Okay, so we just finished there. So this is the last part of the show. Please, if you have a question, please ask, because I'm leaving tomorrow.
Can you stay longer?
And this is the last hour. Yeah. Now I'm going back home. I've been here for long. Yeah. And this is a follow-up shot of Akona. Akona is a filmmaker and also a photographer. And lives in Alex and has own documentary that was produced after the first shot was taken. And then this is Cindy Kumeke, who's from my township, Umlazi. We go to the same church in Devon. And then this is one of my favorite persons. Not that others are not, but I like this person. This person is Kosha Modise. We took this image on the 24th of December, 2014. A good soccer player, a South African soccer player before we put the sexuality in it. And has scored more than 101 or has more than 101 caps, which means that she has scored many goals, more than any male soccer player in South Africa. Yes. And she's one of us. Yes. She's one of us, she's out. She has a partner and they have a child together and fabulous. She knows how to kick the ball.
She knows how to bend it.
Yeah, yeah. Before even that bending came
Yeah.
she's been doing it. And I'll be doing a follow-up shots with her. And I guess that she's one person in history that needs to be celebrated, you know, beyond anything else. Yeah. Yes, just to say thank you so much for your patience.
Thank you.
And also in closing to say that for each and every photo that you see of someone or of mine, always remember that that is somebody's life story. Images are not just images, but there is something behind the images that we see in different publications, if not published or somewhere there in some closet. Those are people's lives and deserve to be celebrated, be read about, be known, and if you can't keep them to yourself, extend it to the next person who is maybe or who might be dying to come out but do not see an image of a person like her or might not see an image of a person like him, because there are many of us. Yes. So thank you so much. No questions? I have a question. Yeah.
It may have been asked before I got here, but I'm always curious about an artist's courage, and especially being South African and a queer culture in South Africa. My knowledge is, that it's difficult. So your courage to not only exist out, but to create art that other people can enjoy and comment on or hate. What gave you the courage to just take the step? So.
I had personal issues, and I didn't want to shift my responsibility and give it to someone else. If you don't see yourself in TV, what do? You produce your own. Yeah? Yeah, so for me personally, I was so tired of, we had scholars who came to South Africa who were so curious about Black lesbians in the townships of South Africa. And you have these people, they come and you never see them again. And we were there. They find us there, they leave us there.
Yeah.
But I guess that in a way, somebody asked me what's my inspiration yesterday. I forgot to mention. It's the scholars that read us.
Yes.
And they've helped us to be published in different publications, but we never understood, the terminologies and the theories that they stated. But they wrote about us, and they really shaped us, like many of us, So, and I could say, inspiration from them and also from all the beautiful people that I meet along the way. The people that I wake up with, the people that I meet along the way, the people who are coming out, wonderful people who have something to say but do not know how to share that something, you know. We have created, there's a blog which is called Nganyis. In that blog, I encourage any person who wants to contribute to give us text or to write a story that matters to us. For me, I always say to them, never mind the grammar, just write. Write, somebody will understand. And even those people who will be reading that English don't know how to speak the language. Right. So in that way, we are building on into this archive that we never had before. You know, here I keep on making a reference with the New York. You have the Lesbian History Archive in this country. We don't have something massive like that. So I'm hoping that with the work that I'm trying to produce, you know, we'll get there one day, and we'll always reference Shambo Center, we'll always reference the Lesbian History Archive, and many other, you know, organizations or associations. And I could say for many older lesbians who don't know that there are other lesbians who are like them, I refer them to Yvonne's documentary, Living with Pride at 100. She's here, she did that documentary. And in my dream is to produce a documentary of Living with Pride, at least at 60 or 70 years. Because we don't have many black lesbians who are that old. Or even if they do, but then they are not as out as you know. So you have your people here, and it's always interesting to be here because this is where I learn. And after leaving this space, I know for sure I'm going back home to bed. Yeah. And we have Gagendo here. Yeah, who's keeping in the closet massive materials. Yeah. Please share, Joe. Yeah, thank you. Yes.
So I'm from South Africa, and this is such an honor for me because I've never seen any of your work. I mean, I've never been to something like this there. So, and there's so much going on at the moment back home, and it's such an honor for me to be with everybody here traveling with me. And it's just like a profound community seeing this, and I just want to thank you for that. And then I also wanted to ask you, because like with all the politics that's going on in the campuses and university and the youth and with the black youth in South Africa now, there's like, they're having to fight for it, but there's a lot of claiming of like pushing to claim space for LGBTQIA people. And I was just wondering if you feel like anything's changing.
Feels my support. There's a lot of movements that I mentioned in South Africa now, which are not like new anymore. But just before I carry on, look at the person at your back. That is their friend. That's Fran White. We had the most amazing conference in South Africa last year, which looked at feminism, arts, academic, and activism. And I just call it in short FAA, like FAAA. I wish you could see the people who were in that space. Are you studying here? Okay, yeah. No, you have interesting something that is going on here, and we're trying to form, you know, working groups or reviving the spirit of Ubuntu in different ways by working together and collaborating as human beings from different spaces. Because the struggle that you're talking about is also happening here. What is happening in South Africa now? The students in different universities, they decided to demolish most of the colonizers' monuments. Or
Oh, hooray.
What's it?
Statues.
Yeah. And then now black kids who are at universities who never had access to residencies at universities, and some of them, they couldn't even finish their programs because they did not have resources. They come from poor backgrounds. They're taking on this kind of movement in ways that was never done, you know, after 94 when Mandela, you know, became our first black president. There's like, it's interesting to be in South Africa now And the movement started on last year. And they said fields must fall, colonizer statues must fall. Everything that is unjust that we couldn't defend before is falling. Because people are fed up. You know? And I was like thinking to myself that I so wish that that movement that is in South Africa now comes here.
It's true.
This mess that's going on here.
It's true.
You know, to say racism must fall.
Yeah.
Anything that is corrupted.
Come on. It's true.
Yeah. So that is what is happening in South Africa now. It's a new South Africa. I would say that is a new South Africa, which is new, really. But then people are really fed up and pissed off. At UFS, like last week, white students were busy, you know, bashing and hitting black students. And the media, you know, they still use Africans there. People are so tired. And this is long overdue. People have suffered. People have suffered, and they are saying enough is enough. We want our land back. We want access to resources that are due to us. Yeah.
And I feel like it's making more space for
LGBTI people are part of that struggle.
Yeah.
LGBTI are everywhere. That's the name of the show. NYU, which means we are everywhere.
Everywhere.
LGBTI people are part of that mission.
Yeah.
You know, when people talk about like apartheid in South Africa and some of the gay people who were in prison with other politicians, Simon Cody becomes one of those men. But when we write about this movement of today, we'll have a number of trans and queer people that will be marked in history or written about in history because we are so active. It's just that the past never, you know, the historians in the past never recognized the role that was played by LGBTI. They would
Just
come
like
maybe
here.
one or two persons, but people have been there. But excluded, but yet they had a lot to say or to do as part of such movements. Yeah, and there's no need to exclude people or to divide people when you think of any movements. We can't say we only see LGBTI people when it's pride. When we're fighting for education and our right to have equal access to education and say this is for straight people, no, we are there.
I want to mention something. Okay, University of Free State that we've mentioned, it's one of the few universities that have got an LGBT center. And it started because they were sending their students out to NYU and we hosted them. And as part of exposing them to diversity.
Wow.
And some of the students going there, they advocated for that. And for an African university in the middle of nowhere to have that. So I just want to give them credit for that part. I don't know how big it is, but they have started one. Because when they come to NYU and we host them in the Multicultural Center and we just expose them to LGBTQ issues.
Perfect. I guess that history needs to be known by South Africans as well. But what happened last week was a mess.
Yeah, no, I saw the video. So.
Yeah, what happened last week was a mess. And I so wish also these exchanges could happen with all other universities as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because it's not only the UFS that needs that level of consciousness, you know, and also, you know, the traditional universities that are situated in spaces like UKZN, they need such programs to be here, whether they speak Afrikaans or not. The fact that they speak Zulu, it means that their mentality is otherwise. And that people need to be exposed in order to learn from others as well. Very stable. Yeah.
In the United States, at least, we know that wherever there's movement forward, there's going to be a backlash pushing back against you. Some of that backlash can really be very dangerous. I'm curious whether or not you feel like that either you yourself, your life has been in danger, or particularly your beautiful art pieces. I mean, you know, here they can be seen, they're in a relatively safe place, but you know, we know that art is fragile. And do you, I mean, have you had to really conserve your pieces, so if anything happens, which could happen to any of your beautiful pieces, that your art somehow is going to go forward.
I work with Ellen now, and she takes care of most of my work that I've produced recently. But in 2000, I don't like to talk about this because it's interesting, but I'll talk about it for some people maybe to get a grip.
It's also real.
Yeah, in 2012, I lost a book archive which was stolen at my place in Cape Town. Yeah, some people just got in that space, which happened to have many external hard drives that I was working on to prepare for a show that was meant to be in July 2012. And on the 19th of April, somebody entered my space, or the space that I shared with my former, and they stole the external hard drives, about 20 or 21 of them. And they did not take the cameras and so on, they took everything with information. They took as far as in they took the archive, not the art. The archive. Yeah, the archive was stolen. And it meant that whatever that Ellen didn't have and whatever that the gallery didn't have got lost. It felt as if I died that day, you know. And it was a huge backlash and sabotage. But I had to start again, you know. And to say for some people who are here, there were students who were here that fundraised for me to recover some of the material or to get back on my feet again. And those students were from NYU. And I'm really grateful to them because they just heard about the incident. They came on board, they fundraised, and I managed to buy some external hard drives and to carry on with them. But I have suffered that loss before, and I know how it feels like to lose, you know, information, because information is never replaced. Once gone, it's gone. Right? The equipment you can, but not with information.
Your data.
So I have suffered that loss before.
I don't mean to say this in my story, but I know that part of the backlash in South Africa is that a lot of black lesbian women are being raped and murdered, and so for this overall process of correcting rape. And I know that it's been a problem in terms of bringing people to justice, like bringing perpetrators to justice. Is there any things changing in a way? Are the crimes reducing? Is there any change in the situation?
For some people, thank you so much, Dora. What has happened in the past few years, or what's been ongoing, maybe never got to be reported on, or never made it to the media, or headlined, and so on, is hate crimes. We have had quite a number of hate crime cases. That some of them made it to the media, some never made it to the media. I can't say things are less or worse. Things are worse because there are outstanding cases that never made it to court, or there are outstanding cases that made it to court, but people were told that they lost evidence because of whatever, And also to say that in December last year, one of the lesbians was killed. And the case never made it to the media until the 13th of January. And that incident happened before Christmas or around Christmas week. And as we hear, nobody knows a number of lesbians who are curatively raped.
Yes.
If people are willing to tell their stories again at the risk of losing their cases again when those cases make it to court. So people have suffered. People have suffered. People are suffering as we speak.
Yeah.
So we've lost a lot of our own people. Yeah, in a way that these Faces and Phases is dedicated to one of ours, Moses Segasa, who was a multiple rape survivor, and she ended up with HIV, and she died from HIV complications in 2007. And she was very young, she was 25. A lot of people are being raped as we speak. A lot of people are being murdered as we speak. But then, in a way, it does not mean that we should be silenced. The struggle is so painful, the struggle is bloody. For me personally, I can't stop doing what I'm doing because of anything that might happen. And knowing that there are so many people whose lives were at risk, but they continued to make sure that South Africa got to be where it is today, you know. Maybe one of them being Mandela and many others, you know. And I know that there are so many women in our communities who are still pushing it to make sure that women's rights are ahead or women are free in our country. So I guess we got to do what we gotta do. And if it's time, really, unfortunately, we have to deal with that when it happens. Yeah, I sometimes fear for my life, of course, but then, I mean, I cannot stop because I'm not the only one who is working on these issues. There are many of us. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So one life is too many. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, good people. Thank you.
Yes, and I'll send you that in exchange. Please, thank you.